Alrighty, welcome my friends. So this is for activity 2 for the temperature comparison part of the navigation and maps lab. So what we're going to do for this section of it is relatively straightforward, but I want to be able to show like how I would do something if I was doing it online slash like how to copy and paste and really like utilize spreadsheets to the highest ability basically. So the too long don't read about this is basically I have a compilation of locations, and you're going to plot those locations on a blank latitude longitude map, and then you're also going to calculate the averages and the range temperatures of these areas. And depending on where they're at, you may find that, oh, this was actually much cooler than I had anticipated. Oh, it's maybe a little bit warmer than I anticipated. And you're not going to do any hand calculations. We're going to make the spreadsheet software do it for us. So don't cringe too much at the term calculate. Don't worry. It will be relatively straightforward on how to do it. So with that said, let us get to it. So the first thing that I want you to do is hypothesize what's going on. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think temperatures remain constant, or do they vary in different parts of the world? And why do you think that might be? So now here's the part where you're going to plot your data locations. So because we're all kind of online for this one, but just in case. So I have lots of different locations here. I kind of tried to go the most south up to the furthest north, aside from these last 3 locations here, which that will make sense later on. So you're going to plot these locations on a map. So on Canvas, if we go to our modules page, what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the lab resources section, and you'll notice that I have a couple of things here that are going to be useful for this particular lab. This exercise, you're going to want the map of the world with latitude, longitude lines. Now you can approach this however you would like. You can download the map and then print it at home and do everything by hand. But what I'll show here is how I would do it if I was doing it on a laptop or a tablet. So what you can do is you can open up a blank slide, like a blank like Google slide or a PowerPoint thing. So I'm just going to change this layout to blank. And then what you can do is you can insert that downloaded map into here, and then you can add shapes as to where those locations are. So I'll walk through the first one with you. So first we're going to do insert, image. I'm going to upload from computer because I have it in my downloads folder. Or I did. Oh, shoot. Okay, so it's just doing that. So what we're going to do then is we are going to do map. Oh shoot, what did I call this? Awkward. Map of world. Okay. Map of world, latitude, longitude. I have it as a PDF. What you could do, because it's a PDF, I'm just going to try and move my face over a little bit, but you can take a screenshot of it. So because I'm using a Mac, I'm going to do Command Shift 4, and then I can select the area in which I'm taking a photo. And then I'm going to go back to my slide, and now I can go image, insert, upload from computer. It's on a desktop, and it's this screenshot here. Okay, cool. And you can see the little parts from the recording software that I'm using. That's totally fine. Anyway, so now it's nice and big in a Google slide or a PowerPoint. You could do the same exact idea for either. And then I'm going to go back to the lab and be like, okay, Esperanza, Antarctica is at 60 degrees south, 57 degrees west. So 63 south, what I'm going to do, and this is kind of like a method that you could use if you wanted to just kind of use lines, like crisscross lines, to help you, at least with the latitude side of things. So remember, latitude is where we are from the equator. So 63 south is right about here. So I'm just making an over-exaggeratedly long line so that I can move it easily without having to change things. And what I could even do is make that line a bit thicker, so it's a little bit easier to see perhaps. Okay, so where that line is, maybe 63 is maybe about here. And then the latitude is 57 degrees west. So again, we're going to do this thing where curves are sexy. You want to follow the curves, right? So I'm going to go up. I'm sorry that the bottom of this map doesn't have the longitude on the bottom. So we might just take a little bit of guesstimating as we come down. But 57 is really close to 60, right? So 60 degrees, 57 is probably going to be just a little bit to the right of that. And we wanted west, right? So if we go back here, yeah, 57 west. So remember that west is on the left side of our prime meridian. So we're just going to follow roughly the 60-degree line, honestly, all the way down. And this is where, again, you can't use the line thing like we're doing for latitude because these lines are curved. So curves are sexy, follow the curves. So it looks like Esperanza is probably right about at the tip of Antarctica. So I'm going to move that one line out of the way, and then I'm just going to insert a shape. This might be a little thing to do. So I'm just going to insert maybe a little smiley face, and then I'm going to put my smiley face right here, and that's where Antarctica is. And I can give it a little fill color if I want, just so I can easily see it. But hey, there's where Esperanza, Antarctica is. Again, if you're printing this out at home and want to just straight up do it on a printed piece of paper, that might be a little bit easier. But if you don't have access to a printer, it may be easier doing it this way. This is what I would do if I were doing it in this format. So once you have all of your locations plotted and you can visually see where on the planet that they are, then I would love for you to also hypothesize which location you think would have the warmest temperatures, which would have the coolest, which would have the largest annual range. So how much would those temperatures, average temperatures, vary from wintertime to summertime? And which location do you think would have the smallest annual range? So the slowest difference between the wintertime and the summertime. And why do you think that might be? So this is just your hypothesis. This is your guess. This is your assumption. What do you think is going to happen? And this is why I also included elevation in the profile or in the table here, because maybe someplace that's higher up may be a little bit cooler than someplace that's closer down to sea level. That's something that you can consider there. Then from here, you're going to utilize this really cool website called weatherbase.com. And you're going to create a spreadsheet. I'm going to show this in sheets, and we're going to have it calculate for us averages and ranges. The wonderful thing about this is how you're going to set up your spreadsheet is literally just a game of copy and paste. Check this out. So first of all, I'm going to go to a blank spreadsheet, and here's a really cool thing that you can do, a really smart thing in Google Sheets and in Excel. So by the way, we have rows are the things that go up and down, or excuse me, columns go up and down, rows are horizontal, and each individual little rectangle here is a cell. So I'm going to start in the top, and I'm going to type in January and press return or enter to kind of get off of it. And then I'm going to go back to the cell that says January. And notice how in the bottom right corner, it's a little circle. Notice how my cursor, my little thing that's rolling around here, goes from a cursor to now a plus sign. So once it's a plus sign, then I'm going to click, hold it and drag it across all the way over here. And it automatically fills in all of the months. That way you're not having to type in every single freaking month. It's delightful. You could also, similarly, you could do the same thing vertically, but for this exercise, I think just doing it horizontally would be fine. So notice how now it went backwards. So see how I filled from February now to January? Isn't that a cool thing? It's a really smart piece of software, but it's a computer, so it's just really literal, which means it can also be pretty dumb. So we have our months filled in here, and then we're going to go back to the lab. And we're going to go to that very first table. Check this out. We can go from that table, that first column, which shows all of our locations. I'm going to do Command C for my Mac, and I'm going to go to copy, or you could do edit copy. and you can go back to your spreadsheet and go to the second cell in the first column and then paste, and then it pastes every single location in there. Isn't that lovely? Pretty freaking sweet. So now we have our spreadsheet all set up with every single month and every single location. And now we're going to go to that website that is linked right down yonder called weatherbase.com. So this is a pretty cool website that has average weather values for various locations around the world for almost 42,000 cities worldwide, which is pretty crazy. So you're just going to go up to the search button here and you're going to type in or even copy paste the locations or each location individually. So I'm going to do Esperanza, Antarctica for us. I will also say that WeatherBase is not like Google where it can guess your spelling. So you do have to be really literal with the spelling. And so there we are, Esperanza, Antarctica. And then what we want is the average monthly temperature from January to December. That's the only variable we want right now. So sometimes I will say that when you're copying and pasting from this website, it can be a little bit fickle. So if you're having issues with some of it, just make sure that you're trying to go from January, that second number here, all the way over to December, but try to not like go past it too much. That's where things can get just a little bit wonky. All right, so I'm just going to select all those temperatures. Again, I'm going to do Command C to copy. I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet and Command V to paste. And it should paste in every single location, which is pretty freaking sweet. So you're going to continue to do that for each location. Some of these locations, by the way, may have multiple like sites for the location. So maybe Melbourne has like 10 different sites for where those temperatures are taken. So just choose one that maybe you're familiar with. I think with all of these, they should all be pretty straightforward. So now that you've done all of that, you've put all of your ducks in a row or your temperatures in your spreadsheet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make two more columns. One is going to be average and the other is going to be range. So we're going to tell this spreadsheet how to do some math for us in a really nice, quick, and easy fashion. So pay attention to what gets typed in here. I'm also going to verbalize it, but just in case. So when you want to tell it you're doing math, you have to start with the equal sign. So starting with the equal sign, it's already trying to guess what I want to do, right? Then you're going to type in the word average. You're going to do open parentheses. And you can just scroll on back here and select the cells that you want it to calculate the average of, closed parentheses, so now that's that whole function, and then hit return or enter and bang, bada bing, bada boom, it calculates the average for you. It's really, really delightful. And if you have every location filled in first, when you calculate the average, it can autofill. Or alternatively, when my cursor bottom right-hand corner goes to a plus sign, you can click and drag down. Obviously, it's not filling anything in right now because there's no numbers here for it to calculate. I do have a shorter separate video to calculate range, but I'm just going to type it in here really quickly. So range is the maximum minus minimum. So you're just going to go equals max of B2 to M2. Oops, close parentheses minus min of also B2 to M2, close it, and bada bing, bada boom, there she is. So once you have all that filled in, then you can just take those values, copy it from the spreadsheet, and then you can paste it into the table here. Obviously, yours is going to look much nicer, but that's a really nice way to do it. From there, then you're just going to fill in this table, which were the values that you filled in above, which actually were warm, coolest, largest annual, smallest annual, and why do you think that would be? Next thing you're going to do is make just a quick little graph of the locations from SoCal, or from Southern US, but I'll make a separate video for that one. All right, thank you for watching.